All right, welcome on back, everyone, to First CSP, a channel dedicated to bringing you the first council shoulder patch issued from each council in Scouting America, both past and present. Today, we're going to kind of continue a little series that we've had trying to identify councils that have multiple reproductions that have been produced. So we're going to look at Lebanon County 650 out of Pennsylvania. Lebanon County Council was chartered in 1924 and existed up until 1971 when it merged with Lancaster County to form Lancaster Lebanon 524. So we know that the national samples went out somewhere around 1970. This council then merged in 1971, so there was not much time to have a CSP out and issued. So the first that we have here on the table was not out for very long. This is the T1 for Lebanon County. There was only one official issue for the council, defined by its dark blue border, white background, dark blue fleur-de-lis there in the center, red letters for Lebanon County Council, Pennsylvania. It was listed in the collection guide as having 1,560 made, and it is specifically a cloth back patch. So we see it does have the traditional gauze backing on early cloth backed CSPs. This one does appear a little bit kind of yellowed, probably due to age, although it is in good condition. And with it, there are two known reproductions that were produced for Lebanon County. One was the national reproduction, approximately 1980 or 1981, I believe. And we will take a look at that. That is the second one listed in the collection guide as TUB. The first one is the TUA, which we'll pull up here now. The TUA is pretty easy to identify in that it has a very thin fleur-de-lis, which kind of looks sad in the center, but it does have the same dark blue border, red letters, white background, but the fleur-de-lis is distinctly different, super skinny, when compared with the real authentic first issue T1. Now this is also, the TUA is also a cloth back, although I will say looking at it, it almost looks like there's a coating on it. It's not a plastic back like we would think of today or even later issues, or even compared with the National Reproduction TUB. So there might be some kind of coating on there, but for the most part, it does look similar in nature on the back to the original. But let's flip this back over. So I don't know if this was just an unauthorized reproduction. I believe so. But here is the authentic original here at the top. We see a much thicker kind of traditional fleur-de-lis. Here we get this very skinny kind of sad fleur-de-lis on the TUA reproduction. You can see here the reproduction looks maybe a little bit more white, and I don't know if that's just kind of the nature of what the first issue T1 was originally, or if ours has yellowed a bit over time, which is certainly possible. And then we have one more reproduction, which is the national reproduction from approximately 1980-81, somewhere around there. There was a handful of councils that were reproduced by the national office. This was one of those in and around that 1980, 81, potentially 82, somewhere right around that time frame. About 10 years probably after each of these were issued, where the council issued one, there wasn't many. I think there was a demand for collectors, and so National did a reproduction. The reproductions that the national office did do at that time are pretty spot on. They look very similar to the original patches, but one of the deciding giveaways is going to be that they are all plastic backed. So this is our TUB, the national reproduction. Put this here towards the bottom, and let's put the original T1 right back up here at the top. And again, you will see that they are fairly similar. Color reproduction is pretty good. You see the national reproductions maybe a little more white. It's fared a little better. stored away. But they did a pretty good job with that reproduction. Let's look at a comparison on the backs here, though. Again, kind of giving away the secrets. If you're not sure what you're looking at as a reproduction, especially for the ones that were reproduced by the National Office, always ask to see a picture of the back. The plastic backing is certainly going to be a giveaway for those that it is the national reproduction. There's the authentic T1 towards the top and the national reproduction towards the bottom. And that is Lebanon County 650. Hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. If there's a particular first issue council you'd like to see highlighted on the channel that we have not yet, by all means drop it in the comments. If there's a favorite episode that you really particularly enjoyed so far, or you haven't seen all of our episodes up until this point, by all means just click on the channel and you can scroll back and view all the previous episodes. We come out with a new episode every day, and hope to see you back here tomorrow for a new episode. But until then, thank you guys for viewing and being along for the journey. I hope to see you on tomorrow's episode.